only so much time and there's so much to do, so I want to do as much as possible. And it's been a little bit. You guys haven't even been in school for most of the week this week, right? So, do you even remember what school is all about? All right, let's see. Let's go back. Last time we were here, who were we talking about? The Hampton family. Tell me anything you remember about the Hampton family. The sisters had their own group later on, that's right. Everybody played an instrument. Do you remember how many kids those were? 12 of them. Do you know any family with 12 kids? That's sometimes in the movies, but that's really rare. What else do you remember?
They all started playing instruments when they were like 2, as soon as they could hold.
As soon as they could hold something, they would start, and they would start practicing for quite a bit. What do you remember?
I can't see it.
Yeah, that was, remember Lawrence, who played with them? They had a really strong work ethic. The moment you step on the stage, you leave your troubles behind. You do everything you can. If you feel bad, keep it outside and pick it back up later. So, and you know that's a good thing to do. When you go somewhere and you listen to somebody, you want to be in this new world. All right, and I look forward to all your lyrics that you wrote for me. And it looks like, and I put the blues back up because I want to kind of remember what we did last time and start out playing a little bit with the blues. I need some of you on the keyboards who feel comfortable finding that B flat and E and B and all those other notes. Who wants to be on the keyboards? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, go ahead, 7, 8, and let's see how many we got. And then I need some Orff people, and some of you I also want to play some blues patterns, so be comfortable. All right, let's just, all of you guys, see how many we fill up, and we're gonna sing. We'll do all kinds of stuff. All right, looks good. Okay, keyboards, turn them on. Now, let's see if you remember finding. You still get powered up? All right, while you get powered up. And, Orff, we got the keyboards powered up. So, remember, just play the C, F, C. Let's go through a blues chorus and get the Orff instrument going. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. C, 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 F, 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 C, 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 C. You can help me. F, 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 C, C. See the notes? You can help me. G, G, C. G, back to the beginning. C, F, C, C, F, F, C, C, G, G, C, G. You find the chords. B flat and E, E flat. B flat and E, B flat and E, and B flat, and B flat, B flat, E, B flat, E, another B and F, B and F, B flat and E, B flat and next row. Last row, B and F, B and F, B flat and E, got it? B and F, keep going. Up, C, F. Now I want a few of you to be brave enough. C, F. You have to keep help keep us keep that form. F, C, C, G, G. All right, help us keep the C. G, back to the beginning. C, F, C. All right, any of you brave enough to maybe make up some things using a C, B flat, and G? All right, here comes solo one. Very good. You'll be next. Find a C, B flat, and then G, okay? Very good. All right, how about a round of applause? Excellent. Looks like it's pretty good now. Okay, round of applause for Katakli. Oh, come on. Last one. Big round. Do C, B flat, and G. C, B flat, and G are your good notes to do something with. C, B flat, and G might go great. C, B flat, and G. All right, big round of applause. Those are good ones too. Hey! Woo! Very nice! Big hand of applause! Any other keyboards? Make something up. Wait. I see big ones and cheese. Now 1, 2, 3, tap. All right, big hand for Alex. Last chorus. F, C, F, F, C, and G. Nice work. All right, go back for a second. We'll get to the next slide. And maybe you can go to. And I'll tell you, we have two more people we get to know. And the one we get to know today was actually a really good friend of the Hampton family. And then on Tuesday, there's one more person that was also a good friend of Wes Montgomery, who we get to know today, and the Hampton family. And he lives in Bloomington, and he'll come year, so it will be a very special treat. So David Baker will come on Tuesday and tell you all about living and growing up on this place in Indianapolis. They call it the Indiana Avenue. And we talked earlier, remember we talked about the Walker Theater, and some of you knew all about how it was the first women black millionaire who built the theater. And all around, up and down that street in the 20s and 30s and 40s, when the Hampton family lived there were all these clubs and places where people were playing music together. And it was a really, really special place. It was a community. It was like a huge family. So it wasn't just the Hampton family with the 12 kids. It was everybody growing up there together. It was like a big, big family. You went over Sunday afternoons. David Baker probably can tell you this story. Everybody who played music went over to the Hampton family house. They had a big tub with ice, it was hot, and Gatorade in there. And they made music and drank some Gatorade in between and kept themselves ready to play more music. And then in the evening, you walk up and down the avenue, you go to clubs and play, you go together to school, you walk together to school, and it's a huge family. And one person in that family, his name was Wes Montgomery. He was a guitarist. Anybody ever heard about Wes Montgomery? What did you hear about Wes Montgomery? You heard the name, and you heard that it was very cool. So, Wes Montgomery, maybe we can go to the next slide. we'll make your music teacher work. Wes Montgomery also had a big family. He actually had 6 children, and he really wanted to play music, but obviously he also had to take care of his big family. So during the day, Wes Montgomery actually worked as a mailman, he worked for some factories. He sometimes started at 4 o'clock in the morning. Then he came home, and then he really wanted to practice his guitar and learned how to play that guitar. And then they went and played in the evening. And by the time they got back home, sometimes it was midnight, 1 o'clock. So how much sleep did he actually get? Not much. Huh? There's about 2-3 hours left. Do you guys run on 2 or 3 hours of sleep? Sometimes, but the next day is going to be really tough, right? So let me show you a little bit. I wanted to show you a clip, and you can see him playing. All right. So, anything special about his guitar playing that you noticed? What do you think?
Well, he kind of played with his thumb.
He played with his thumb. Did you guys see that thumb? Was there anything special about that thumb?
It wasn't a pet.
No pig. It was just a thumb. What about the shape of that thumb? Anybody notice? Did you look close at that thumb? Did you notice what kind of thumb he has? Any of you has this kind of thumb that you can bend back? Kira has one of them. Peter, show your thumb. Look at that thumb. Peter has one of those thumbs too. But he actually could bend his thumb all the way back to his wrist. Anybody can do that? Not quite. So that's a pretty flexible thumb, right? So he played with his thumb. Anything you noticed about the sound? How did the guitar sound to you? Did it sound different from other guitars, or how was the guitar sound? How would you describe it? Was it like a hard rock sound? No. Kind of hard? You have some words for it? Very jazzy. Bouncy? Hmm. So it crosses some boundaries, smooth, bouncy. Peter, help us out here. You're a guitarist. What does Wes Montgomery actually do to get that sound? What are some of those special techniques?
Well, I mean, he plays
With his thumb. So how does that work?
well, what's the story that he practiced at home with his thumb so he wouldn't wake anybody up at 4 o'clock?
Well, the story why he developed that technique is, remember I told you he had 6 kids and a wife and had to work. So when he got to practice, most likely everybody else was sleeping, and he tried to practice really softly to not wake anybody up. So he figured out how to play without the pick and without getting too loud, and developed this special technique. Can you show us?
Well, usually when you play guitar with steel strings, which this guitar has, and it's those very heavy strings, you play that guitar with a pick. You go, that's nice and loud, but if you don't want to wake anybody up, you go like, if I do this with a pick, it goes like, well, that was without an amplifier. Anyway, so yeah, if you want to have control over your volume and not wake anybody, your stuff. But he also, I think, developed this technique where he started playing not just a melody like this, but he went.
That's the
So
sound.
he's playing octaves not most of the time, but a lot of times, and that gives it a very, as we say, percussive feeling. funny because it's yeah, I mean, I'm sure how to exactly.
Well, maybe we should just play a tune and you play like Wes Montgomery. How about, we'll go on the next slide. Well, how about if we play, let's keep going. I need this one. How about if we play a tune, we play a song by Wes Montgomery. It's called D Natural Blues. And, oh, notice something, can you count how many bars this song is long? How many is it? It's a little hard to see, but if you just count 1, 2, 3, 4 in each line, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Anything looks familiar about this compared to what we just played when we started? Remember the one time through that blues that we played together, that was also 12 bars, wasn't it? So this is actually also a blues, it's just a note higher, it's in D. So maybe we can see, or maybe Maggie can get a stick or something to help you follow along while we play, so you can actually see the blues form. But we're gonna play this song. It's a song by Wes Montgomery. I really want you to watch Peter when he plays and improvises a solo and see how he uses that thumb technique and that Wes Montgomery technique, all right? You ready? And then you can see how we keep playing the blues form, because eventually you all play it too, improvise. Here we go. Is it? All right. Uh-huh.
Down. 2, 3, 4.
did you see Peter's thumb working hard? It's pretty interesting guitar thing. Any of you guitar players? A few, a little bit, know some chords. I want to tell you a story with Wes Montgomery. Let's keep going forward. Moving to here, some pictures. And I'm going to take you now into one of those clubs on Indiana Avenue. It's called the Missile Room. So the Missile Room was a place where you often, after everybody played for their dances and what they had to play, they gathered and they did what's called jam sessions, meaning everybody just comes and they play and they show each other new things and new techniques and new tunes that they learned, and they just hang and chat, and it's a fun thing to do, and jazz musicians love to do that. That's why they never get enough sleep. And one night in Indianapolis was really hot summer night. One of my friends, his name is Duncan Sheet, and actually David Baker too, they were there. Duncan is a photographer. He had taken photographs all day. He went down to the Missile Room and he realized, oh my gosh, my batteries are empty. I can't take any more photographs, so I'll just hang out here in the corner and watch what's going to happen. And that night, a saxophone player was in town. His name is Cannonball Adderley. Fabulous saxophone player, and he actually was a recording artist for a record label called Riverside Records. So he came to town, he had just done a concert, he wanted to see what's going on in Indianapolis, are there any cool musicians, you know, what's the fun thing to do in Indianapolis, so people took him to the Missile Room. So he comes down the stairs, the band is jamming, they're swinging away, and playing in the background, and bluesing something. You know, it's dark, match, and the lights go down. Walk down the stairs. Duncan is just hanging out. He's actually, by accident, right next to a pay phone. You know, they didn't have any cell phones at that point. They had to have pay phones. So he's sitting there. There, down the stairs, comes Cannonball, saxophone in his arm. And suddenly he stops because he hears this guitarist jamming away and playing some stuff he never heard before. And that guitarist was playing this thump thing stuff. And he's just listens. And he's mesmerized. He never heard anything like that. Duncan is watching him. He sees him going to the payphone. The payphone is right there. He dials a number. Really excited. He says, Orrin, get on the phone. And it's Orrin Keepnews. He's the famous producer for Riverside Records. And this, Orrin, you gotta hear this. I never heard a guitarist play like that. This is the best thing I ever heard. You gotta get this guy and sign him up on Riverside. Here, listen. And he holds the phone into the room so he can hear this guitarist playing and gets more excited. And Orrin loves what he hears. And the night goes on. A few days later, Orrin comes to Indianapolis, and he goes to one of the jam sessions himself. He hears the guitarist play. And right after they're done, so they're winding down. Right after they're done, he comes up to Wes Montgomery and says, "No, Wes, this is really cool stuff you're playing. You want to be on Riverside Records?" And Wes goes,
I don't know what he did.
So we don't know exactly what Wes said when Orrin came to him, but Wes did get signed to Riverside Records, and you can see some of the album covers here. And his brothers, see, it says the Montgomery brothers. They actually had, one of them was a piano player and vibraphone player, and one of them was a bass player, so they also made records together, and some others. So Wes got to travel all over the world. The other clip that you just saw was actually Wes Montgomery playing in Germany with us, that was recorded on a TV in Germany. And, well, let's listen to him now that he's signed to Riverside Records, play one of his most famous tunes. This is called Jingles. Special technique. Well, so he got to travel all over the world. He was on Riverside Records. Riverside actually didn't do too well, and after a few years, it got sold. That was the song we just did. And then he got on Verve Records, and Verve thought, we want to make him really famous. So they tried to make him sound really smooth and put a lot of strings behind him. Some people didn't like it too much. They thought, it's not real jazz. You got all these other sounds with it, but it got really popular. But unfortunately, remember I told you how hard he worked, practiced at night, go play, work all day, and maybe got 2-3 hours sleep every night. So by the age of 42, actually, which is not that old, that's actually younger than me, and probably younger than most of your parents, he actually had a heart attack and died really early because he had just worked so hard all his life trying to take care of his family and do what he needs to do. So he didn't get to see much of the fruits of his hard work, but we have a lot of the music. And here's one of his most famous tunes that he wrote. It's called 4 on 6. And we want to play that for you and just for Wes right now. And Peter's going to be Wes Montgomery one more time. Alrighty. Thank you. That's all music. So we go back to the blues. Put the first blues one up again. So 4 on 6, and here is probably a story that David Baker will tell when he goes out. Before we go out, get that back a few on the xylophones and the keyboards. We'll do one thing before we go. Who wants to go play keyboards? Same chords as before. You'll have to remember you have to find those blues chords. 1, 2, 3, go 4, go up. Xylophones, file them up. Here, go run for it. Fill them up. And one of the stories that, if you see some more left over, go for it. One of the stories that David Baker will tell is that we can even have 2 on one keyboard on some of them. There's one more. There's one more. All right. And there's one more xylophone. Here. That, Wes Montgomery was a great musician, but he didn't really read that much music. That was not something he learned. And David Baker was one who really learned to read music. He loved to write music, and he loves the notes on the page. And one day, actually just before Cannonball came down the steps and got him signed, David Baker and Wes Montgomery were going to do a concert together. There's a big poster of it. And it never happened because Wes Montgomery left town with his record contract. But we still have the picture, and David tells the story how when he taught them the songs that they were going to play on that concert when they were practicing, he just played them something and they had to play it back. He didn't really give them music, so they had to really listen closely. So I'll show you how Wes taught the music just by listening. So you have to listen. Here's a blues that we're going to do, and here's the melody for that blues. It's going to be... That's about all there is to it. Anybody has any ideas for words that we could stick on that? Any ideas? Which one? Yeah, but any words we could use to sing that?
West Montgomery.
Something with West? No? I'll give you the notes first for our instruments. It's a G, 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 C. So you have to find a G and a C. Find a G and a C. Ready? And G, 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 C. Let's do it a few times. And G, 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 C. 3, 4. G, 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 C. 3, 4. G, 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 C. 3, 4. G, 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 C. And one more. G, 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 C. All right. Now this sounds like cheesy. There should be better words to that. Something like that. We all love to play the blues now. Help me, everybody. 1, 2, ready, go. We all want to play the blues now. Let me hear it. We all want to play the blues now. 3, 4. We all want to play the blues now. Very good. All right. Keyboards, can you find those chords again? That B flat and E, then the A and the E flat. You see it on the screen? Let me give you one run through before we add the melody. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. B flat and E, A and E flat, B flat and E, B flat and E. Next line, A and E flat, A and E flat, B flat and E, B flat and E, B and F. B and F, B flat and E. One more time from the top. B flat and E, A and E flat, B flat and E. Middle line, A and E flat, A and E flat, B flat and E, B flat and E. Last line, B and F, B and F. Keep doing that. Are you ready for? We all want to play the blues now. 3, 4. We all want to play the blues now. One more time. We all want to play the blues now. All right. So keep doing your chords. I want to see. Early on, we had some solos here, improvising with the C's and the B flats and G's. I'll get 1 or 2 more. But if you want to just make something up, singing or so, you can let me know too, okay? Think about it. I'll ask you in a second. Okay, who wants to go first? C, B flat, and E. Make something up. All right, very good. You make something up. All right, very good. And one more. Like it. Anybody wants to sing something? Try? Come over. Come here. All right. Come here.
What do I say?
You can make up. talk about today? Wes Montgomery. Anything you remember especially about Wes?
He played guitar with his thumb.
He played guitar with his thumb.
He was double jointed.
He was double jointed.
He only got 2 or 3 hours of sleep at night, and the reason why he started playing with his thumb was if he played with the guitar pick, he might wake his sleeping family up, and he stayed up late to practice.
He stayed up late, practiced, and learned to play this technique so he wouldn't wake up anybody. Get 6 kids. He died at 42 of a heart attack. One more thing. He only got about 2 or 3 hours of sleep. Yeah. So we learned about Wes. We are going to learn about David Baker on Tuesday. He's going to come and visit us. And one of your songs is ready. Maybe while some of you walk out, you can sing it along while you walk out. We made the Hoagie Carmichael song. And remember, he was knocking at the door at 3 o'clock in the morning. And some of you really like that fact, so see if we can learn the chorus real quick while you walk out. And I think this is Arakam, Dunnerine, and Doris who wrote, did I say that wrong? You have to help me, but they made up the words. Here's what they came up with, listen. Knocking down the tree, knocking down the tree. Louie let me in with a cup of coffee. Can we do that? Ready? And knocking down the